What's happening, everybody? I appreciate you checking in. All right, news has just dropped that we signed a linebacker to this linebacker room, and it's funny enough that we basically highlighted this linebacker yesterday in our live. We broke down close to 40 game clips of the 2024 season on this linebacker because initially we were going to break down Jeremy Chin. We're going to take a look at do a deeper dive on Jeremy Chin, but as soon as it was announced that this linebacker was released by the Cincinnati Bengals, I wanted to jump on the opportunity, kind of do a deeper dive on this player because I knew that this linebacker room had a lot of question marks and we definitely needed as much help as we could get. And so I wanted to do a little more research to know whether or not the Raiders should really go out and take a really good look at this linebacker. And obviously today the news dropped that the Raiders went out and signed Jermaine Pratt to the 53-man roster. And funny enough, at the end of the live, it was kind of the overall consensus that Jermaine Pratt, without question, could help this linebacker room. And earlier today, I dropped a video detailing out all the reasons why I think the Raiders should go after Jermaine Pratt. And of course, about an hour and a half later, the news was announced that we went ahead and signed him. And so I'm going to kind of break down who Jermaine Pratt is. We're going to take a look at the numbers of what the contract looks like, but I'm also going to pull up some of his stats and again, just kind of give you reasons why I'm extremely excited for this pick and what I think Jermaine Pratt is going to bring to the table and bring to this linebacker room. And so in the comment section down below, let me know what your thoughts are of this signing and grade it. A through F, what's the grade of this signing? A through F, and let me know in the comment section down below. But before we get into it, if you can, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. My next giveaway is at 5,500 subscribers. So if you want to be included, hit that sub button. I definitely appreciate it. And so let's kind of jump right into it. The Raiders go out, they sign Jermaine Pratt. All right. And so what's funny is it's a steal of a contract. All right. They went out, they signed him for a 1-year contract, $4.78 million. I believe the contract's around $4.2 million. And he has the opportunity to make an extra $500,000 with incentives. And so with that number, it actually makes him the highest paid linebacker on this roster. And so, one, got him for an absolute steal based on his statistics from the 2024 season. But that tells me he is a day one starter. He's going to come in and he's going to be starting next to a Landon Roberts without question. And now we're going to take a look at some of his measurables, but I'm also going to show you some of his stats. And so Jermaine Pratt, he's actually 6'3", 350 pounds. So he definitely comes with a little bit of size in him. But then he was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals in 2019 in the 3rd round. And just one thing to keep in mind is that he is a converted safety. So he did play safety and he converted to the linebacking position. And that's why some of his stats, I think, look not as impressive as they are as of recent. And so I'm going to scroll down. You guys can take a look at his stats as I kind of go through the reasons why I really like this signing. And it's not surprising that we brought somebody in. I mean, one thing to think about is you want to take a look at where do we need help, right? We definitely need help in the slot corner position. You can always add help in the offensive line position, but the linebackers, there are so many question marks. But one key factor, we actually pretty aggressively went after Christian Ellis, the linebacker that was over there with the Patriots. And so they made a very aggressive offer and we lost out on the Christian Ellis sweepstakes, which I was actually pretty bummed about. I really liked Christian Ellis. I think he would have been a hell of an addition to this linebacker room, but we weren't very aggressive outside of that attempt. We weren't very aggressive at all in free agency, and we waited to the 7th round to address the linebacking position. But the attempt at Christian Ellis did tell me that there's a good chance that we're still going to be aggressive and we have the salary cap space in order to do so. So before this signing, we had $36 million to play with. So that told me that John Spytek, this front office, they probably were not fully satisfied with what this linebacking room looks like. And that's the reason why I highlighted that position group in the video that I dropped last week, right before the June 1st cuts. And so let's get into some of the reasons why I really like this signing and what I think Jermaine Pratt does bring to the table and into this linebacking room. And first and foremost, he brings a ton of starting experience. You can see up on the screen just his stats. He's going to bring a ton of experience, but he also brings a lot of high production over the last couple seasons. All right, again, led the Cincinnati defense with 143 tackles, and I understand Cincinnati's defense was not very good as a whole, but to accumulate that many tackles on that type of defense, that tells me that you just find your way to get to the football. As a linebacker, if you have a very weak defensive front in front of you, sometimes those linemen get blocked into you, and it makes it a little bit harder for you to get to that ball carrier in certain situations. And so to, again, accumulate 143 tackles just tells me you do find ways to get to the football, which is very impressive. Also, not only was he the leader of that Cincinnati defense, but he was also a team captain on that former team in 2024. And so, but also when you watch the game film, you can also see that he's a very good communicator on the field. And so you want that trait. You want that trait from somebody that's going to be a veteran, someone that's going to come in and really be vocal on that field. And you see that on the game film. So I love the way that he communicates on film. And I think that's going to help with some of the younger players and help their development as they grow within this game. Now, also, you can see it clearly on the film, but in addition, going back to the 143 tackles, he's going to be another run stopper. And with him and Landon Roberts playing side by side, and you got to take into consideration what our division rivals did. All right. They beefed up their offensive line. They added to the running backs room. They're putting more of an emphasis in the running game. And that was made clear through the players that they drafted, as well as the free agents that they brought in, that our division rivals, they are going to emphasize the run game. And we got to be ready for it, and bring in another run stopper next to Landon Roberts, I think is going to be crucial to the success of our defense. And so I definitely like that aspect of this signing. And also, when you watch the game film, and this goes for any linebacker, but you can tell that he is a true headhunter. He goes and he flies the football, but you got to try to keep him clean. All right. You got to make sure that the defensive linemen in front of him do a good job of taking on those double teams. And we are going to have, as long as Christian Wilkins is healthy and he starts the season firing on all cylinders, we have a front four between Christian Wilkins, Adam Butler, maxxcrosby, Malcolm Koonce. These guys are going to attract all the attention, and it's going to allow guys like Landon Roberts, as well as Jermaine Pratt, to just fly and finish tackles from sideline to sideline. It's going to be exciting to watch. And so I'm definitely excited to see these guys throughout this season to kind of clean it, get to the football quickly, clean up plays, finish plays, and be the tone setters on this defense. And also, with his background of being converted as a safety to a linebacker, you can tell that he already kind of understands kind of passing coverages and how to get into coverage and how to drop properly. And you see that on film. And I think Jermaine Pratt's going to be a good complement to him. Not saying he's the best. There are some flaws in his game when you watch the game film, but I think he's going to do a good enough job to be a complement to Landon Roberts and help in the pass coverage game on the defensive side. And now, as I make my last point, I'll go back up to the big screen. And look, at the end of the day, he is a day one starter. He's the highest paid linebacker in the linebacker room now. And so I think Jermaine Pratt brings three huge positives to this defense that's going to help with the success in the 2025 season. Is number one, he's a veteran coming off the best season he has had since entering the NFL. And so he's going to come in with confidence, and he is going to want to be a tone setter from day one. And so him and Landon Roberts, I think, can basically match their own energy and be a staple in the middle of this defense. And two, he's going to come with that experience of a multi-year starter and not only have an instant impact and help this defense find success in the 2025 season, but also help with the development with some of these younger linebackers, the Amar Gainers, the Tommy Eichenbergs, right? Help with their development. So not only does he help us in the immediate, but he could help with the potential success of this linebacker room in the near future. And number three, I think there is a chance he's going to come with a little bit of chip on his shoulder, because I'm not exactly sure how JohnSpytek was able to snag him for such an inexpensive contract. Again, top 10 leading tackler in the National Football League at 143 tackles, a team captain leading his team in tackles. But you inked him up for such an inexpensive contract. It truly is like a prove-it deal, which is shocking because I didn't expect it to be that inexpensive. I think he may come in with a chip on his shoulder and play his ass off, knowing that this might be his last chance at his last big contract for his career. And so I'll end you with this. I think this is an absolute upgrade in our linebacker room. It's a hell of a signing by JohnSpytek, and I do think that this improves our defense without question. And so, again, let me know in the comment section down below. Grade this pick A through F. Let me know, do you like it, or do you not think it moves the needle too much and it doesn't really help with the success in the 2025 season for our defense? Let me know in the comment section down below. So I definitely appreciate you sticking with me. If you can't hit that like button, subscribe, turn on those notifications. My next giveaway is at 5,500 subscribers. If you want to be included, hit that sub button. So I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out of here.